This is 1017 CHLY.
Welcome to Wellness Wednesday and the Chronic Wellness Radio Show. I'm your host, Sandra Sova, and it is so fantastic to be here with you again today on Wellness Wednesday. This is a show that takes place each and every week here on CHLY in this time slot, and it's where you get to hear a variety of voices and viewpoints, all relating to topics on how to live a healthier, happier, more thriving life. On today's show, we're going to be talking about some of the choices and options that are out there to support our health when it comes to managing pain. You know, people are becoming a lot more discerning when it comes to their health. And we take a look at different ways on how to support and manage it. And thank goodness. I mean, these days we are asking more questions, we do our more research, and we're more informed than ever before. We are also living longer. And when we're living longer, we definitely want to make sure that we are having a good level of health. It's really, really important. Looking back about 10 years ago, you know, the most common solution for whatever ails us would be prescription medications prescribed by our doctors. And, you know, the pharmaceutical industry was really at its height. When you fast forward today, you'll find that along with the decline in the trust that was once given to the pharmaceutical giants, there is a resurgence and a better understanding of the appreciation of using things that are a little bit more natural, a little bit more holistic, and that goes, and there's so many options and choices for what we can do for that. When we look at prescription medication for pain, you know, we see the ever-rising incidence of lives lost, altered, or rapidly declining due to the effects of prescription pain medication and, you know, there's also the very, very slippery slope of addiction that has touched many, many people. It is clear that we want, and we deserve to have better choices. Well, one of these things for having choices is coming up just around the corner on October 17th, 1 week from today. Cannabis becomes legal for recreation use here in Canada. As someone who's been using cannabis medicinally for years, I can speak to the effectiveness it can give me personally for pain relief and mobility. I love being able to have the choices and the options. And while I still do use prescription medication to manage my disease activity with RA, when it comes to pain management, it is not the only option we have. When we use plant-based medicines like essential oils or cannabis to manage pain, it means we can lessen the amount of prescription medication that we're ingesting. And I love this because it means we're also introducing less toxins into our bodies that can have a whole bunch of serious side effects. And we all know this. You know, over the past few years, there have been a lot of cannabis craft dispensaries that have been providing a really good variety of really quality products. And that means you're able to shop for strains that are best suited for what you're looking for. And if that happens to be medicinally, well, you can buy exactly what you're looking for, tailored to what sort of needs you're trying to meet. I'm not so sure that the government-run recreational cannabis is going to have the same medicinal benefits, choice, or quality, but we shall see. One of the things that I do know is that cannabis products can be expensive. When we think about a lot of the people that can really benefit most, there's a large segment of that are also seniors or may have limited income. My guest today is going to share with us something that may be able to address some of these factors. Joining me now is Tony Adams, a licensed grower of medical marijuana. And I'm just going to bring Tony on the line with me here. Dale, do I have to take him off of hold here?
Yep. Push the line in. Yeah, there we go.
All right, Tony, I think you are live on the air with us. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me here on the show today.
Yeah.
So you are a licensed medical cannabis grower. But we're going to get into a lot about that. But I thought we'd talk just for a moment about cannabis as medicine and how that is, what sort of experience do you personally have in that area?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, it was 17 years ago, last August. I was living in Vancouver at the time, and I was addicted to pain pills, Percocets mostly. I was taking 8-12 a day. And a friend of mine asked me to come down and try cannabis. There was a new Compassion Club that opened up, and I thought, oh, wow, yeah, okay. I smoked that in the 70s. It was good. And I went down there, and they had about 10 or 12 different kinds, and I started trying different kinds, and I found out that it was good for pain relief. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it. It was after a week, I was totally off pain pills, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic. We got to get the word out to people. Yeah. And it was in... that was August 24th that the government was forced to legalize medical cannabis for us. And right away, they said they had to have 2 doctors fill out the form. So right away, I went to my doctor's office, and I got my doctor and his partner in the firm to fill out the forms. Sent them into Health Canada, expecting to get my license in. And it didn't come. And finally, I get all the papers back, and they said that I had to have 2 specialists fill out the form. Well, I spent 4.5 years going from specialist to specialist trying, and they would look at me and my paperwork and just say, get lost. They try and sell you other drugs, but they don't want anything to do with marijuana.
Well, and the paperwork and the process that people have gone through, I've heard and experienced myself as well. It was never an easy process.
Easy. They made it as difficult as they could.
Yes.
And, we would take them to courts. I know there was over 12 charter challenges, court cases that we went through with them, and I followed every one of them. And I even testified in a couple about how I was treated by Health Canada. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But, so, it's been constant fighting with them all this time. It should have been legalized in September of 2001. And we've been having this fight ever since that. And it's just made me so angry over the years. It's the medical people now. We got to take control of our medicine. They're busy with the recreational market now. And fortunately for us, we've already had over 12 charter challenges. They can't put any restrictions on us, like no medical stuff to eat or only using flour and all that crap. You find that the best way for taking cannabis is either with a vaporizer or eating. Mm-hmm. Those are the 2 ways that I've found that are healthy and a really good way to use the medicine. People got to get this into their minds that it's medicine. It's preventative medicine also. It prevents you from getting a lot of diseases and stuff.
With the change, with the legislation coming into effect next week, even though it is for recreational use, it will really open up the opportunity for more and more people to have a chance to try and see whether cannabis is something that would be able to help with their chronic pain and things like that. So that's a good thing. And but what the quality of the stuff that the government supplies, I don't know. What would you have your hopes up for that? What do you think that's going to be? What do you think people are going to be getting there?
Listen, in 2003 I bought a little growing machine, and on my very first crop, I got 15 ounces out of it, just 6 plants inside there, and it worked hydroponically. And since 2003, I haven't had to pay any money for cannabis. Mm-hmm. And that's what we have to do in the medical community. We got to take control of our medicine. We got to find a plant that works good for us. And because there's all different strains, you got to try different strains till you find the right plant for you, and then start growing that plant. That's the way I did it. Mm-hmm. And I have, if it hadn't been for the strain I have, I call it Mama Goose, because it looks after me very well. I've used it since '07. I did a testimony for one of the clubs down here in Victoria, and they gave me 10 white rhino seeds from Hawaii, and I crossed them with, the next year I crossed them with juicy fruit, and the product I have now is just absolutely 100% what I need for myself. I've had a lot of back surgeries, I've had a cancer operation, I've got things in my neck that are all screwed up. I can't sleep very well, and the medicine that I'm using just works perfectly for me. I use a vaporizer now, which has really cut down on my marijuana use. And you can have it by the side of your bed, and if you wake up in the middle of the night, I just press a button and you get a couple tokes and bang, back to sleep. They're so convenient, and you know, nobody even knows that you're using it. You know, it's like eating cannabis. Those are the two best ways to consume medicine.
Yeah, and when we are talking about medicine like that, it's like you described, having it really accessible by, you know, a vape pen where you can just take what you need and then get on with what you're doing, which very much a lot of people I know do use that for sleep. And so you've over the years you've worked on, and so you're a grower. So you've been growing cannabis, and this strain Mama Goose is it's one that is really effective for you for your pain
relief and energy in the morning. They were both sativa strains that I used. The juicy fruit was a Jamaican 80% sativa, and then of course the Hawaiian was 100% sativa. So it gives you a nice uplifting feeling, and when you use a vaporizer, you just take a puff. You don't even feel stoned at all, but your pain is gone and you feel better. It's just an amazing product for me. And so, and people that have tried it also have said, oh, you know, it got rid of their pain. And there's few strains that are actually for medicinal purposes. Like all these recreational strains are coming out with it. People are just going to get lost in all those.
Yeah, and it's it's going to be a hard landscape for many people to navigate, because it's going to be really, really new. So I know you've got a website, you're the Growers Co-op, and you've got your slogan right on there. It says "People helping people," and you're wanting people to be able to have access to cannabis as medicine and be able to afford it. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I've gotten together with a lot of home growers that, you figure at even $4 a gram, that works out to $1,800 a pound that they're getting. So, I mean, on $4 a gram, you can pay your expenses. You know, you add another 50 cents or to $1. Like $5 should be the maximum with home delivery.
So compare that, just for people that may not be aware. The price for instance, at a dispensary is $10 a gram and up. So we're talking $10 a gram and up, and I expect that will at least where the market comes in when it becomes legal as well, and then I see it going up from there. So what you just said was less than half than that. Around the $450 range per gram, and this would be for people within joining in with the Growers Co-op and having access also to the particular strains that are designed to help people medicinally.
Yeah, all the strains that we sell, there will also be plants available if a person finds that strain that really helps them. And we do have home delivery available in Nanaimo now. And there's also in Victoria, we do some. But I'm really looking forward to starting a farmer's market. Like, there's a lot of growers like me that, they found their favorite 1 or 2 or 3 strains. and they use it for different times of the day and stuff like that. And like all of us growers that have been growing for years, we grow enough for ourselves. I got probably about 6 ounces left from last year still. So if there was some place for all of us growers, the MMAR and ACMPR growers, to get together and put on a farmer's market, and we could bring in our strains. People that are looking for medical strains can come in and they can talk to the growers who grow them, and they can find out what's used for pest control, and you can find everything out about the product that they're selling, and try a puff and bang. If you like it, you buy it. If not, you go to the next one.
And that's the real appeal. Like with farmers markets, they're a draw for people where we go. We like to know where our fruits and vegetables are grown, and how are the meats raised that we're using. So being able to actually have a conversation with a grower that's here on Vancouver Island that is producing this stuff and has the knowledge to be able to do that number one is amazing. But then now to be able to purchase some, to try some, to see whether or not it is going to be the one that works. That's a real change. That's going to be a real something really great for people to do.
Yeah, and we have to take control of our medicine and our health, because the government doesn't give anything about it for us. We have to look after ourselves, and this is the perfect way to do it. My website is going to supply a format for growers all up and down the island. They can list their product on there, and they'll have to have some plants available too in case somebody wants to buy the strain. But then you'll be supplying that strain to that person until they have their own product, which is going to be 6-8 months down the road. So
right. So the idea is you choose a strain, you try and see which one is the best fit, and then eventually the idea is that they're going to receive a plant with that strain, and they can grow their own.
And plus, the person that supplies the strain will help them set up a grow site. People are making a big deal out of how difficult it is or how it wrecks buildings and stuff. Right now, you can buy a tent. It's say about 8 feet by 4 feet by 6 feet tall. You can put 2 lights in there, and that would produce enough product to last you the whole year. On my box that I had, it was really well put out. It was 6 plants on hydroponics. You take your clippings in the beginning. There was a compartment underneath where you veg the plants while the other ones were budding. You pull the budding ones out, you stick the vegging ones in, and bang, you just keep going. And every 2 months you can have a crop, and you can share it with your friends. We can make it a real social thing, have a band. I would like to partner with a charity in Nanaimo or Campbell River or wherever. And, we could put on the farmer's market. It could be a cashless market where we use debit cards. We could people could come in, pay to load the debit card, and then take the debit card in to the farmer's market and make their purchases, and the taxes and the commission for the charity would be deducted on each sale. So, it would be easy to really make it tight so that there's no messing around. And
Well, it's there's going to be so many different things that people are going to be able to try. And I know myself, I encourage people to think beyond what is just coming through from the government. And I don't know what it's going to be like this time around, but oh gosh, many years ago when I applied for my license through my doctor, my specialist, I placed an order one time to get the stuff that the government was providing, and it was like it had already been processed or something. It looked like shake. It looked like it was really, really low quality.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'd be really surprised if it was really much different from that. So, but let's see. I'm sure somebody I know is going to get some that way, and I'd like to take a look at it. But just if that's there is a whole. It's very artisanal, very that's what I said. There's sort of like craft dispensaries where that's going to change now into more community oriented, or something like you're talking about, where getting introductions at the farmers market and things like that. And there's a real there is a lot of just as there's so many different varieties and types of wines and grapes and stuff, so is true in the world of cannabis.
Yeah. Well, see, when the recreational thing happens next week, they're going to, the governments and everybody's going to be so busy with that they're not even going to notice the medical market, and that's when we can step in and organize and set up a farmers market to pay a charity some money. And I'm sure that they wouldn't be able to stop it. We're just a club, If everybody's a member of the club, we're a club, and we're sharing our medicine amongst ourselves. Nothing illegal about that.
And so...
Yet.
and so what, it sounds like, you've got a few ideas and a few things that, and I hear a lot of you wanting to partner with other people, and like with a charity, and being getting sort of a sense of community in there around that as well. So what do you see as next steps? What would you like to let people know about what they should do to get involved with this with you?
Well, I think Nanaimo would be the best place to put on the farmers market. It's mid-island. It's handy to a lot of people. So if anybody out there knows of a charity that would like to participate in this type of thing, I'd be happy to hear from them. And any growers who would like to join, we just charge $100 a month to post their ad, and and then each area will have their own distributor. And so anybody interested in that type of thing, you could take a look at my website, coopgroop.ca. And I'm also on Facebook. It's the Co-op Grow Op, COOP-GRO-OP on Facebook. And it's something we need to organize amongst the medical community. And I'm really looking forward to meeting like-minded people.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I like hearing this too, because there's going to be it's a whole different branch of being all the organization, all the stuff that I'm hearing that people are considering for the recreational side, and that's all fine and good, but it's a really, really different when people are talking about this as our medicine. What I will do, Tony, is I will I'll put some links up and some information up on my Chronic Wellness Tips Facebook page as well, and let people know to, they can either reach out directly to yourself or touch base with me, and I can connect them to you with that. And, basically, I see this as the beginning of the start of a conversation.
Yeah. The
beginning of something of thinking about, what might be possible.
Yeah, we could make it a real carnival atmosphere. Every Saturday we could have it in a different town, or maybe on a Wednesday night, or whatever, or Sunday, and we could rotate from town to town. And those that have a little bit left, then they sell it. Like the ad is only month to month, so I imagine most people would sell out all their extra stuff probably within a month. So. And we could, have a band, and and have lots of edibles to eat, and people could make all kinds of different things, and that's what I see happening. I don't know. I'm an old hippie from the '60s, I guess, but that's what it was like in California when I was down there in '67 and '8.
Well, you're sort of painting a nice picture. Like there's I could see a farmer's market kind of all focused around health and wellness things where people could, basically browse around and spend some time and, listen to some music and sort of dial it back a little bit to nothing wrong with being an old hippie. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's I'm really looking forward for this to happen, but we'll see.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that's really cool. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners here on the topic?
One thing, I am so convinced that my strain is really good for pain relief that if anybody wants to email me, Tony@coopgroup.ca, I'll send them one of my joints to try, and I'll guarantee you it gets rid of pain right away.
Oh, wow. That's very, very generous of you. Okay, so that's email Tony@coopgroup.ca. Was that correct?
Oh, that's right.
Okay, I will, and he's going to, if you've got some chronic pain and you'd like to try some of his particular strain to address that, send him an email and he will send you a sample. That's very generous. I'll hook that information up on my page as well.
Oh, great.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining me today. That was Tony Adams from the Co-op Grow Op, which is coming here and being organized for Nanaimo in all over Vancouver Island for more access to medical cannabis. We are going to take a bit of a musical break right now, and I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. We're going to listen to a little song kind of on the theme. Here's some Tom Petty. That's a little Tom Petty there. That was so nice. One of my favorite albums of his. Welcome back to Chronic Wellness on Wellness Wednesdays here on CHLY. Did everyone have a nice Thanksgiving? We just came off of a nice long weekend, a little bit of Thanksgiving. I'm sure everyone had some turkey and some family. Well, if you're ready perhaps for a burger, why don't you come out to the Queens tomorrow night and you can support a really cool fundraiser. It is a burger and a beverage in support of Nanaimo's Community Kitchen's Oktoberfest. And for $15, you can get a delicious burger and a beverage of your choice. And it goes to support the Nanaimo Community Kitchens, which offer some really, really great programs for everyone from youths to seniors on things from basics cooking skills and meal preparation, and groups together for a lot of things, teaching a lot of the basic skills around how easy it is to put a meal together. So it is a great organization. Check out their website. It is NanaimoCommunityKitchens.org. They do some really, really cool stuff for us here in the community. And again, that's tomorrow night at the Queens. Thursday, October 11th, $15 burger and a beverage. Doors open at 5. Dinner is at 6. There is another event that actually really caught my eye that I wanted to mention to you, and it is a workshop coming up this Saturday, October 13th, called The Caregiving Years, 6 Stages to a Meaningful Journey. So this is a workshop for anyone who is entrenched in the caregiver responsibilities for their parents, or any professionals that are working with the elderly in a caregiving aspect. It is facilitated by Saskia Jennings, who is a certified caregiving consultant and educator, and it takes place this Saturday, October 13th, from 10 until noon at the Pioneer Wellness Center over in Parksville. For more information, get in touch with Saskia at either on her Facebook page, which is Creating Being Well, or you can look up the event over on Eventbrite. So that's eventbrite.ca, and just search for caregiving and you'll see the information for that workshop to come up. All right, so those are a couple of choices that people have when it comes to things to do. And what we've been talking about today is choices that we have when it comes to dealing with pain. So myself, I deal with chronic pain, and you know what? I can tell you that chronic pain can be an absolute beast. And I'm always looking for an alternative to regular, prescription or even over-the-counter pain medication, because as someone who has a chronic illness, I've been doing this for a long time, and I am in it for the long haul. And the choices that I make for what I put into my body and what I ingest, they can have, they can have a real impact. And it is not news at all that ongoing use of medication, painkillers in particular, can have some real detrimental effects. So, when we're looking for alternatives, let's first take a step back and think why we might want to use something else. So if we take a look at even really, really basic entry-level anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen or something like that, they have short-term effects. You can have some stomach upset and a little bit of nausea with taking medications like that. But long-term effects, and if anyone is trying to manage chronic pain, you're probably taking these on an ongoing basis. So long-term effects of taking a simple anti-inflammatory can lead to stomach problems, ulcers, kidney issues, cataracts, and a really, really big increased incidence of heart attack and stroke. That's just, there's also, depending on what medications you're taking for pain, you could also be dealing with things like impairment, brain fog, drowsiness, sleeplessness. Like, are you kidding me? These are serious things, and I have not even touched on any of the higher level drugs, like any of the opioids, because we all know that there is nothing but nasty that comes along with that, and a lot of addiction problems. But so that's a motivation right there to want to be looking for other alternatives. So I'm going to share with you 3 ways that I use to manage chronic pain that have nothing to do with prescriptions or over-the-counter medication. So the first thing is what we were just talking about in the previous segment, which is cannabis. Now, I don't know what it is, but there is something in cannabis that when I use it, by either vaping or smoking, that it works almost instantly for mobility, stability, and pain relief. It goes beyond pain relief, because it actually somehow works on a mechanical level and allows me to do different things that I need to do. And it's just like it works so fast. And when I do have a quick puff, I am then able to take care of activities that I need to do with more ease and, definitely less pain. And, I don't use a lot at any given time, but it is really, really great to have as one of the tools in my toolbox when, particularly when I'm going through a flare and I have something, like housework that needs to be done. It's interesting how it works. I would describe my use of cannabis not recreational, not at all these days. It is very physical task related. So when I have something that I need to do, that is when I would be using that. Of course, the quality really, really important. The way that I use cannabis, it is not something that I'm using for thinking that it is improving my health or improving or lessening my arthritis, but what it is doing, it is allowing me to have energy and relief to get things done, which improves my quality of and enjoyment of life. So that's one of the things. The second thing I'm going to tell you about that I use to effectively manage pain, it's exercise. Yep, it's true. It's true what they say, whoever they are. Those people and wisdoms that do tell us that if we exercise, it will help decrease our pain. Well, it's actually true. I've got an interesting story to tell you. I had earlier this year gone to an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon here in town because I was checking in to see my candidacy for a total knee replacement, which I could be due for if I chose to go that route. And during the intake process, there's, a lot of questions relating to your physical activity, your mobility, and your lifestyle. And when it came to the question about whether or not I do any exercise, I said that yes, I do. I go to work out at the gym, mostly on the treadmill, every second day. And that I like using the treadmill because it gives me a lot more stability than if I was walking outside, because it allows me to hang on to the handrails if necessary. And it also, what I do with the machine is, and she interrupted me and she said, "Do you put it on a slight incline?" I said, yes, I do. And she goes, and she's nodding her head. So apparently, if you have a bad knee, and specifically if you have a knee with osteo or rheumatoid arthritis, if you are working out on a treadmill, if you put that incline up just a couple of notches, it is a lot more comfortable. And it has to do again with the mechanics, sort of like the angle and the pressure, but it makes a world of difference. So and it's when I first started doing exercise, which is actually a year ago, just this past week. I started by doing some walking outside, and that was great, but I would never ever be able to increase up to a cardio level because I'm not that sure-footed on my feet. I turn over on my ankles, I fall easily, I'm out of balance, I favor one knee over the other, so it doesn't really work. But when I started working out at the gym and on the treadmill, because I am a completely flat surface, slight incline, and the ability to hold on if I need to, I'm able to actually do a pretty decent workout and get some cardio going, which is really, really amazing. And here's the thing. Yes, it does help with pain. When I leave in the morning, I am painfully going down the 14 steps to get down to the car. And yes, I know there's 14. But when I come back, I can go up those stairs an awful lot easier. And I have increased energy for the day simply from having the fact that I worked out. The other thing as well is when you're working out and you are strengthening your muscles and your body is becoming stronger, that also helps to support your joints and helps to make things easier on that end of things as well. So it's a I'm pretty excited about that it's me, Sandra, sitting here talking about the benefits of exercise because, like I say, it is new to me. It is one of the changes that I have made over the past year that I'm really actually pretty proud of, and it is so there you go. Even if you have really, really painful bad knees, you can still go and work out. Don't forget my tip to use a little bit of an incline on that treadmill. And another really important tip, you gotta have a good playlist. Having a good playlist, it really, really helps me work out. And my level of output is often very matched with whatever I happen to be listening to. So get yourself a good playlist and get out to the gym. The third thing that I use to manage pain without prescription or over-the-counter medication is essential oils. And when I started to use essential oils, I initially started using them for their emotional benefits, for how they were able to help support things like stress and my response to stress. And oh my goodness, are they great for that? However, I wasn't really aware how effective they could be for pain management. When I started to learn a little bit more about the oils and started to read on which oils people were using and what sort of protocols they were using to address joint pain, I was pretty interested. And then when I tried it, it was like the biggest eureka moment I have ever had. It still amazes me, even to this day, how using something like marjoram essential oil on the center of my knee joint can really help alleviate pain. Or when I use something called past tense, comes in a roller bottle, and I use that along my neck or my shoulders or along my jawline when it's sort of spasming and I'm experiencing muscle fatigue and, like a bit of shaking in that area. I can use that. I can get results really quickly, really fast, and it's 100% natural. I do not have to reach for a pain medication. I am able to basically spot treat where and put on some oils wherever it hurts, and it allows me the way that I can describe how this is most empowering to me is because we've talked about how all the negative effects from taking pain medication. Great, we understand that. But then there's the fact that we have this pain. And if you have ongoing pain that is not well managed, you're going to be leading a pretty miserable life. And if you're always reaching for pain medication, sometimes I used to be watching that clock. When would the 4 hours be up when I was able to take another dose? So, and even without that, throughout the day, how many doses am I taking per a day? Because I'm not going to just say, well, I don't want to take pain medication, so I'm just going to be in pain. That's not a good solution. So by having something like using the essential oils, I can do something like that, get some relief, and I can then go for another couple of hours before I even think about having to take pain medication again. So usually the jaw thing and the back of the neck tension starts to happen around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, especially if I've been working in front of the computer for a long time. So I'll use some oils, and then that means that for the next few hours, I can delay putting off taking a pain medication, so then I can decide again when it gets closer to bedtime, do I really need to take one then or not? Basically, I allow to really stretch out the duration. And that is really, really empowering and powerful on a day-to-day basis. But when you look at it in the long term, every single time that I can use something else, a different way to address pain, and I am not reaching for pain pills, my body, my cells, everything is, my body is thanking me, because I'm not numbing it, and I'm not adding more pain medication, which we can't deny that it takes a toll on our bodies and systems. So by doing something else, it's really, really exciting. So those are my 3 things: cannabis, exercise, and essential oils. Really, it's again, like I call them the tools in my toolbox. There's other things that we can do as well to support our health and wellness, things like meditation, distraction, any sort of a thing that can sort of take the focus away. And there's lots of different options out there, and I encourage you to do some research and find out what might be something that would be of benefit for yourself. And I've got a little bit of time here, so I'm going to steal one of those ideas from Tony earlier in the program today, and I would like to offer up some samples for you listeners out there as well. If you have if you're suffering from any sort of chronic pain condition, specifically muscle and joint pain, maybe from a chronic illness like a rheumatoid arthritis or something like that, I would love to send you a sample of some of the things that I use, some of the essential oils. It has made such a world of difference for me, and I would be delighted to share that with any of you that are listening. I've got 10 samples set aside. Please reach out to me. Contact me through my Facebook page, which is Chronic Wellness Tips, or reach out to me and find me through my Essential Oils Nanaimo page. I would really, really like to hook you up. Well, my goodness, the hour always goes so fast sitting here in the studio. I thank you again for joining me today. It is always so great to share information and ideas, talking about how we can better support our health and wellness. There is so much that we can do. There is, we really do need to be in the driver's seat when it comes to our health. And when we talk about different choices out there, there are certainly a lot of them. So do your research, look up, talk to people, figure out what works for you, and listen to your gut, and you will more than likely be steered in the right direction. Wellness Wednesdays here every single Wednesday at 1:00 p.m. on CHLY. Next week, it will be Pam Edgar and Dr. Paula Lake here in studio, and they were going to be talking about moving forward in life and making changes, but being really starting from where we are at right now. That sounds really interesting, and I hope you tune in for that. Again, if you ever have any questions or comments about anything that you hear about on the show, please reach out to me. My name is Sandra Silva, and I am so thrilled to be able to share time with you once per month on the second Wednesday of each and every month. So I will be back again in November. And until then, I would really, really wish everyone to get out there and enjoy this sunshine that we're experiencing. There is not too many times when at this time of the year when you take a look on the weather forecast and you can see nothing but sunshine for the days ahead, but that is absolutely what we have coming on right now. So get out there and enjoy it. Do some walking. Do some kick your feet through the leaves and breathe some of that really, really nice fresh air. Thanks again to my guest Tony Adams for joining me today to talk about his Cannabis Grow Op Co-op, and I'll be hooking information up for that on my website. In the meantime, I am going to sign off now with a song that is actually kind of special to me. It is it's by a fellow named Rob Thomas, and it was originally written. He wrote this for his wife, who suffers from an autoimmune disease called lupus, and the song is it's called Her Diamonds, and it is about seeing someone who is suffering with illness and just not knowing how to help. So have a listen, be healthy, be well. May we all be chronically well, and I will see you